Are you gonna edit all this then?
Yeah, boy, raw and unfiltered. Now,
Bro.
everybody's Mason again. Got Jim Rustman with me on the call, my fearless leader's leader, and he's gonna be making a video with me today. So, Jim, just to start, I just kind of wanted you to give your story and background when you first joined Symmetry, kind of what you did before, who you were, just kind of your intro to Symmetry.
Yeah, thanks, Mason. My story is I worked 15 years in law enforcement, and came to Symmetry because I needed a change in what I was doing. I didn't like what I was doing before. Um, my career path was really leading to nowhere. I didn't make any money, so I just went on ZipRecruiter, found an ad for Symmetry, and um, it wasn't an easy ride in the beginning. No, right? I mean, people think they can come in and make $100,000 like with a snap of a finger, and I want to tell them no. You have to really focus on what you want, right? And really just dig in.
Yeah, and see that was my favorite thing about getting to interview you for this, because me and you we're kind of like work ethic gurus, and I love it. And hit the ground running. We hate laziness, the bullshit excuses. I love how you don't put up with it. Uh, so what? How much money were you making at your previous career path?
I made $980 every 2 weeks. So roughly about 30, I think it was like 36,000.
36,000 a year.
Yeah. Crappy
And
money.
what did you see in your first year at Symmetry? How big was the difference?
108,000.
Completely different quality of life, isn't it?
Yep. 100%.
Did that lower depression, stuff like that? Get to spend more time with your family, kind of more fulfilling?
Yeah. I mean, it lowered. I mean, I don't never say I was depressed, but I love what I do now. I mean, I love exactly, helping people, quote unquote, doing things that are right. Right. I mean, you know, uh, helping others. Yeah. My prior career, I never felt that way.
No, you kind of dreaded the nine to. I'm not sure about your actual work schedule, but most people are and stuck in that 9 to 5, making someone else rich. And I've always, I love the quote, "Every man dies, but not every man lives." Just
Mhm.
because you look at the average person dies at 25 years old, but they aren't buried until 75. So you got 50 years of just kind of floating through your life with no purpose, no reason that you feel for your existence. This has been very fulfilling for me, and I've been here nowhere near as long as you, but
Right.
I've definitely noticed that change in my quality of life. I get to enjoy being a part of something like this, and it's been awesome for me. So, how many trips have you been on here?
I've been on 12 different trips with Symmetry.
Did you have to pay for any of them?
No, I
And
pay
how
for.
awesome is that?
Yeah, that's pretty. It was fun, man. I'll tell you that.
Even
Um,
our Cabo trip, that was my first one on when it was with the company. But that's if that doesn't change your life, I don't know what does. Like if that can inspire someone new.
right. I mean, going out and earning it, right? I mean, earning a trip that like people, no employer pays for a trip. I mean, no corporate executive gets their trip paid for. They have vacation time, right? Here you can earn a trip and get it paid for free, and then on top of that, Symmetry can give you another trip for free because you did what you're supposed to do.
And my favorite part about these trips is you get to go meet these people who later become great friends and family.
Right.
Like I think me, you, Alex have built a pretty good relationship as far as friendship goes. But you look at any other corporate environment, most of those people aren't even allowed to go on trips with their like coworkers, because they all get in a plane crash or something. who's making that company money? And
Right.
that's not even the purpose of these trips. It's just go have fun,
Yeah.
let
Living
down the
life.
phones for a little bit.
Yep.
And so give me some insight as to work ethic and laziness. I know you harp on that all the time on the calls. You and Melissa don't put up with it. I love it. I know that like hurts people's feelings and strikes them right to the core of their soul. So what do you think it takes to be successful here as far as work ethic goes, and not making those excuses about I only made 10 dials this week, why am I not successful?
Right. I mean, you got to think about it, right? Why did you come to Symmetry? Right? I mean, why? Were you here to be, flipping burgers like you were at McDonald's? Or were you here to become, something different and really change your life? Um, if you're gonna do $10 a week, I would tell you go flip burgers at McDonald's. Um, if you're gonna do $50 a week, go flip burgers at McDonald's. You're not gonna get anywhere in life without putting hard work in and putting the effort in.
Yeah, doing the minimum,
Correct.
what anyone
You gotta
else
do
would do.
right. You gotta do, 4, 5, 600 dials, setting 20, 25 appointments and working the system. I mean, really, if you're going to come and say, hey, I only did 100 dials for the week, I'll look at you and say, that's not enough. Do more.
No, but this compared to maybe other IMOs who do cold calling, that's nothing. I hear stories about people making thousands of dials in a week and not even setting near the appointments or having nowhere near the amount of issued paid we write over here. So when people complain about that, I can't help but to laugh. Like
Yeah.
it's
No,
pitiful.
yeah. It's sad.
And you've built a pretty big base shop now, I would say. No, maybe not now that you've lost Kevin and a few other people, but how have you kind of managed that, being in not necessarily in charge of other people, but just kind of not micromanaging, just kind of distributing workload, or however you kind of built your leaders up? How did you manage all of these people to be successful under you?
Because I lead from the front every single week in, week out. I write business. I prove the system every week. I've got 3 kids, anywhere from 9 years old down to brand new newborn. Um, I run appointments 2 or 3 days a week. Um, and I've really, I mean, I focus on the system. I haven't run a, $250,000, agency just because, you know, I do $10 or $15 a week, or I only set 5 appointments a week, or I only do 5 interviews a week. No, I mean, you have to do massive action, right? You got to do that 20-20 split, like Casey always says, and improve the system and work it. So, yeah.
And how do you kind of delegate new agents when they're coming in under you? How do you get them kind of rolling when they first start? Because
Yeah,
this can be kind of intimidating to new people.
yeah, for sure. I mean, one of the most important things I think you got to have is a new agent mentor. Um, and have several mentors in your whole organization that you trust and that have proved the system already, and focus on those individuals and move them along fast. You know, get on their calls, get on their dialing sessions, and really focus on that mentor phase of them, and not delegate, right? And not tell them what to do. I think if you show them and you express, hey, this is what's going on, you need to figure it out. I mean, that's the way,
Just kind of give them a little bit of belief and
right.
exposure and kick in the right way. You're not really just do this, do that, and
Hmm.
don't talk to me unless you do this. I know I see that in a lot. I won't drop like this isn't to like name drop people or anything, but you and Melissa have obviously drawn a lot of traction, and people I think are offended by that in Symmetry, as far as how you guys don't put up with BS and stuff like that. You just kind of you watch me how I do this, if you don't want to do it, that's your fault. That's your loss. I don't care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we want winners every day. We want people to be successful. We want to see people change their life, and change, what their circumstances were before. And I think, um, people have to have belief, right? If you don't have belief in symmetry from the get-go, what is it? What is it? The reason behind, why are you not believing? Um,
Yeah, it's either a job or a
right,
lifestyle to people here.
right.
There's no really in between. You're either both feet in or both feet out. Can't really do one or the other.
Yep, I
And
agree
so
with you.
just speaking about quality of life, how has yours changed since before your previous career? Like what are the biggest differences you notice now as far as comfort, maybe financial freedom? Like what is the big differences in your life now compared to 5, 6 years ago, making $980 every 2 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, the coolest part was, realizing that I could afford to take 8 agents on a trip to Cabo and pay for it. And not even bat an eye at it. And giving my kids, their dance lessons, their stuff, and not worrying about where my next paycheck's going to come from. Not worrying about, paying my expenses. Not even frustrated about even having to work a second job. You know, um, I make really good money. I have time with my family, and that's really what I want. And I could give back to the community, man.
Yeah, you do a lot of fundraising stuff, and I love that, man. I think it's just called philanthropy, but
Yeah.
I love what Symmetry does with St. Jude or the Make a Wish Foundation. That's if some of those videos don't make you like cry,
Hmm.
I, you're heartless.
Right. I agree with you. I mean, I feel that, this, what Symmetry does with Make a Wish is, I mean, come on, let's be for real. You
That's
know,
life changing.
yeah, I just, yeah, that's
I
awesome.
think life's most persistent question is, what are you doing to help others? Because I've found the moment I shift my mindset from me to we, or like not worry about my own pen and try to get you, Alex, whoever their promotions, business just starts flowing in. The moment you change your mindset from how can I help myself to how can I help others, and it's explosive results.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, that's, yeah, I think, where people fail, right? I mean, I think failure is huge. People fail because they don't believe, and they think this business that you can do it on your own. Um, I would like to tell everybody you can't do it on your own. You have to have multiple mentors. You have to have multiple people that delve into you, and you do the same thing. You call your mentor, you know, 5, 10 times a day. Ask questions. Make sure you really get those, understandings and beliefs, inside of you, and really grind. Just keep grinding at it. And one day you'll realize, man, it popped, and you're like, wow, I just wrote 30K this month, and it was that simple, right? I mean, the first time that I wrote an app, I wrote it for $3,800. That was more money than I made in 2 months. 2 months in law enforcement, right? Think about it.
One day,
Right, in one
one
day.
phone call turned into one appointment, turned
Yeah.
into $3,800.
Yep, 100%. So, and then you just repeat the system over and over.
It's crazy how duplicatable it is. Like it kills me how people find excuses or try to deviate from it and then blame the system for them failing.
Right.
Like I have a lot of respect for you because you actually do lead from the front. You write business every month consistently. Even though I outright you a lot of the time, you can't use having a kid as an excuse in here, Jim. But you see people trying to lead from the back, and that's what kills me is when they try to lead calls and like you have no authority or no backing behind what you're saying. You don't practice what you preach.
Right.
And you mentioned reaching out to uplines a while ago. What do you recommend for people who's maybe their uplines don't really know what they're doing. They're just kind of floating by through here. Do you
Yeah,
recommend
so yeah,
reaching out
that's
to
a
sidelines or what?
right, right. So that's a huge. I mean, that's big, right? I mean, some people come in here new and start building, which is great. I love that. And then some people are lost. What I would tell you is to reach out to your, the person above that person, or the person above that person, until you feel fulfilled. I remember, 4.5 years ago, I reached above Melissa. I reached up to Lynn Watkins, right? And asked him questions. I talked to Casey Watkins. I've talked to, Marshall Wayland, just at different conferences, just asking questions to make myself grow, and make myself understand this business, because, nobody knows everything, right? I mean, we're all not perfect, right? But if you continue to ask questions and really want to be a part of Symmetry, I mean, it's anywhere, man.
Oh yeah, you pull a little bit from everybody and reject
Mhm.
what's useless to you. And
Yep.
that's treated me fairly good here. I think I've built up a little bit of association for myself. Like Marshall Whalen changed my life, telling me to get an assistant. And
Right.
it's so much easier for me to write business down, not having to worry about $10, $15 an hour work. I can go do my $150 an hour work and see the benefit from it. And so just kind of a last question. What's your insight on like a no BS approach? Like what kind of obstacles have you faced as far as building your agency? Like what have been your biggest mistakes here at Symmetry, or things other people like me especially could learn from?
Hmm. I think mistakes were in the beginning. I remember, interviewing people and really just blurting about Symmetry and all blah blah, and not really giving them who I am, and making it more personalized, right? Um, you know, I can recruit 20, 30 people a month, right? And bring great agents into this business, but will they stick? They won't stick because they don't know you. The people want to know who their leader is.
Yeah, you're selling yourself. You're
Yeah.
the product, not the
Right.
not the company. You're selling yourself, your story.
Right. And once I've realized that with interviewing, it's changed a whole lot in my business. More agents are here, more agents believe, more agents wanna be here, and work that system. So, yeah.
And what do you feel like the most important part to being successful here is for newer people coming on board?
Plug in, um, reach out and ask questions, and make sure you're on every single call that your mentor tells you to be on.
And
Um,
why do you say to be on the calls, like the morning huddle up calls, whatever you want to call them?
I tell them because you're going to learn and grow, and you're going to learn about Symmetry. I don't care if you're going through your exam and you're um well, I just don't know if that's an excuse, right? Excuses, are not winning people, right? Um, you know, I got to go to the bathroom, right? Well, I can't be on the call. I got to go. No, that's an excuse. We don't take excuses here. Like,
Those are the same people who make $10 a week and
yeah.
then complain they only have 200
I
APV
mean,
at the end of the month.
how hard is it, Mason, to get on a Zoom call, 8 o'clock in the morning, be accountable for what you're doing on a daily basis, just to make you better? I mean, I wish we had this 4 years ago, instead of some lazy ass conference call. Now we have, an accountability call to say, you know, what you're doing for the day. Your mentor is there to help you. You're in game plan appointments with you, and people choose not to get on those.
Yeah,
Again,
who is that really hurting?
right. You're hurting yourself. You're making yourself look like a fool. Again, I mean, what's the Symmetry system? Make sure you're on calls. Make sure you ask your mentor for help. Well, if you're not on calls, how you going to know anything, right? I don't know.
Or you miss the things that you're going to ask that were already covered in that morning's meeting.
Hmm.
Just kind of a last question. What do you feel like you're the most important core value is here to you?
Me? Jeez. I think it's open, honest, and productive communication.
And I was hoping you'd say that because again, you and Melissa do not put up with shit.
Right.
I've heard you tell people, like, I don't want to hear the excuses on why you made 15 dials all week and you didn't have any appointments. I go back to your old job. Like, why do you feel like that is so important to you?
Um, because I could come to Melissa with anything I have. She's going to tell me exactly how it's going to be, and exactly what I need to change. And I think I've instilled that in my whole organization, that A, we're family friendly too, right? But two is I'm going to tell you exactly what's wrong, and you either have to fix it or you don't, and you're not going to win.
Yeah, then you have people who just can't take constructive criticism without being complaining, like whiny babies. I don't know what you'd want to call those people who just don't want to listen. What you're doing is helping them avoid the same pitfalls you made.
Right. Yep, I agree.
Well, I appreciate you helping me out with this, man. Do you have any like last minute advice for anybody maybe new outside of the company, kind of looking in? You see all these bad YouTube
Yeah.
videos of people who
Right.
weren't successful. Maybe their mentor didn't really help them out, or
Sure.
they weren't getting the assistance they needed. What do you have for anybody looking from the outside in,
Sure.
looking at joining
100%.
Symmetry?
You know, people want to look at a comp rating, right? People want to look at comp, or I'll put it commissions, what you're getting paid, but you're not looking at what the whole company does and what the structure is, and what they're doing for you, and how much tech is involved. There's so many haters out, with pretty much every company. But you know what? I'm going to tell you is that, I came to Symmetry because I knew I could build a business. The three owners, Casey, Brandon, and Brian, found the system. It's just amazing. I mean, for the people that don't understand and say, "Oh man, Symmetry this, Symmetry that," I'm going to tell you right now, you failed yourself.
Yeah, but anywhere else, they're either going to make you do 100 list and bother a bunch of family doesn't give a shit about insurance. They're going to try to keep you there with their contracting.
Mm-hmm.
You're only going to be in home. Like you can work 100% virtual here and make 30,000 a month if you want to.
Right.
Where else can you go and do that? Where can you go? Nowhere.
Nowhere.
And
Nowhere.
other companies will boast comp ratings on all their Facebook posts that they spam your feed with. And you go there and you have no culture or training. It's just go work, make me rich, build an agency and sell it, retire. And then now you're broke 10 years later. Here you can build something that lasts a life. You're building a legacy here. I know that's my intention. I know that's what separates us from any other IMO is our culture.
It's 100% your culture, man. I mean, you know, I don't care about comp ratings. I care about what my future is going to entail. Do I have to be an agent the rest of my life? You know, can I build a business? Can I get overrides? Can I get bonuses? Can a company invest in me? Like Symmetry is doing 100 times that, right? Putting so much money into everything, into you, and into just a business in general, and they're giving back to the agents, giving back to the community. I mean, I don't know.
You look at how cheap our leads are compared to anyone else's that are $80-$90 for some crap lead that doesn't want it. You get some of our expensive, what's considered expensive here. You're writing 10,000 in a week easy.
Right. Yeah, easily. I mean, easily.
It kills me, but anyways, I appreciate it, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this, and thank you, Jimothy.
You're welcome.